hopefully you guys.
I should have did that
Hopefully you
before,
guys.
but yeah, that just happened. Yeah, we recording now. We live now.
Right.
So hopefully we can give you guys some things to
Some
take
insight,
away.
yeah.
Yep, and as you all see again, we got Cerese, and we have it's not Shana Paul. I thought it was Shana Paul. I was like, yo, Shana Paul. I was like, let me find out you related to Sean Paul. She's like, no, it's Shana, bro. So her name is Shana. So when y'all reach out to her, her name will be Shana. But yes, thank you again, ladies. Their company is called She Designs, and it really is a company built on just styling, right? Getting clear on their consumer, which is their partners. That's how they view it, and putting in the flavor, right, to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So, without further ado, I want to hop into a little activity for y'all. So, I need y'all fingers ready.
Okay.
All right. So, audience, I have 4 images here. I want to know which room triggers you most. Now, it may be a different room than one on here, but of these 4, which one you know when you walk in and see it, like you feel that stimuli, you get hot, right? Your head starts to actually get a little pressurized. You know what I mean? You get a little snappy. You may start twitching on people. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let me give y'all some time to see. We got 3 so far. Garage, yep. I'm gonna let y'all throw in the chat. Which one triggers you? Or if nothing triggers you, which one triggers your partner? Right? Because we all got that partner who gets triggered, like, oh God, here she goes, or here he goes. You know, which one? Throw it in the chat.
A lot of 1s and 3s I see.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting 1s and 3s. Yep, throw it in the chat. Shana, which one triggers you?
Honestly, I think number 1. Number 1 would do it for me.
Number 1. For
A lot
me,
going on. Number 3, I can see why people would choose 3 as well, but yeah, number 1 can't do it.
it's interesting. So, number 1, I see it, I'm like, it's crazy. But for me, in my mind, and it's crazy, this is why perspective is everybody has a different perspective. I'm like, all right, we can hit that quickly, right? The one that hits me is like 3 and 4. I'm like, oh, if I had to walk into a pantry, just consume like that, I just want to just throw everything away. And I'm pretty bad. Like if something over, I'm like, I gotta throw it away. I'll just start fresh with what I need. But let's see what we got in the chat. Let's see. All right, so we got 3s, we got 1s. Diamond said 1. Joel said 3. Got another 3. 1. 1 is an easy cleanup. Yep. See, he must. See, from a man's perspective, we're like, that's an easy thing. Women are like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
just in the closet or under the bed.
Listen, don't be judging, all right? That's not how we move. We got 1. We got 1. Ian said 1, 1, 3, and 4. All right, bet. And when you guys think about it, right? So clutter is more than just clutter, right? There's clutter is one thing, but clutter does something to you, right? And we're going to talk about the impact of clutter, and then we're going to get into strategies and all that good stuff. But this exercise, we thought were good to start off because we all have that image in our mind, or we're looking at it in your house at the time. Like, yeah, that thing triggers me, right? So it's way deeper than we actually give it credit for. So let's get rolling. We'll talk about today's agenda. This will go into 1. Um, and that way we will respect the hour, allow you guys to get great value quick. We'll offer an opportunity for questions. So we're going to go over the basics. We're going to hit the core decluttering strategies and mistakes that can happen that leads to like these spaces that are overwhelming. We'll talk about the purpose and process of staging and its impact. We'll talk about the return on investment staging has and how it actually makes sense, which is why their clients hop on it. And then we'll also at the end provide an opportunity for you all to connect with myself or these ladies. We're going to think of something creative to offer for you guys, for those who want to carry the conversation forward. If everything is good, you guys are ready to go. Shoot go in the chat. Drop a go in the chat so I know you're here. We can't move until I see some goes in the chat.
Let's go.
Let's go. See, Shane is asking for it, and nobody dropping it yet. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. All right, cool.
There we
Now they
go.
slide. There we go. All right, let's go. Let's go. Y'all want some energy? Let's get it. These ladies here to give you some value. So we got some goals in there. Let's get the show started. All right, so I'm gonna hand this over to the ladies to take us through.
All right. So first, we want to start out by defining clutter and understanding what that is versus what a lived-in space is. So I don't know if there's anyone in the chat that knows the difference between the two, but if you do, I'd be curious to know. So you can go ahead and drop that in the chat as I go through this. But you know, a lot of sellers struggle to differentiate between a cluttered home versus a lived-in home. And the key difference is purpose and presentation, right? So, example, a lived-in space is a home that has a feeling, more of a warm feeling, an inviting feeling. It's functional without being overwhelming. You know, items are intentional and add to the space's aesthetic and usability.
So when you say it's functional without, what do you mean it's functional?
So what I mean by functional is that when you walk in, like the couch is in a place where nobody's running into it. It's not in the middle of the room.
Mm,
So the bookcase has its own place. It's not just somewhere where it just looks random or it feels random, right? So
like a
again, a lot of
bookcase
the
in the
stuff we're
kitchen.
talking about is going to be more about a feeling, right? Because you want to connect the buyers. We're referencing buyers. We want to connect them to a feeling, and staging evokes a feeling at the end of the day, and that's kind of how you tap into people's psychology and get them to do what you want, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you're talking, I'm thinking about, so like she said, purposeful arrangement, right? So that's like having a living room. And let's just look at the picture on the right. You're in the living room and having, let's say that shelf to the right, right? Let's say that was behind the couch, right? Would that make sense? You know what I mean? That may help just to get clutter out the way, but now to get to the bottom of the shelf or to actually utilize the purpose of the shelf, you got to rearrange furniture, right? So that's not a purposeful driven environment, right? Or
You don't want to have to reach behind things to get to things, right? You want things to be accessible. You want them to be in a place where they can be accessed without having to do too much.
yeah. And what's the difference between, like, let's say a nice purposeful, and when we say purposeful, meaning things have a purpose of why it is there. Like there was a thought process of why the couch was laid that way instead of laid that way. Like she said, when you walk in, if your guests have to walk around and go in a little corner to get in, it may not be the best way to have that space be utilized. And that slide us over to clutter. So it's with like clutter, let's define what that clutter is.
So for me, when I think of clutter, so I would say a home where excess items create visual noise, right? So making it difficult for buyers or people to see the home's true potential. Clutter can be physical, it can be visual, and it can be emotional. So it's important to know the difference. So when I say physical, physical clutter is too much furniture or decor in a space, right? So you have a a small space, but you're trying to fit everything in there. Sometimes everything can't go. Everything can't go. So that's physical clutter. Visual could be too many patterns or too many colors in a space, right? It's overwhelming. It's not making sense. It's doing too much to the senses. And then emotional, a lot of times that's more personal items that make a home feel like it belongs to a certain person. So when it comes to staging, if you're getting ready for the market and you're putting your home on the market, you don't want to have a lot of personal items around because you want that buyer to be able to envision themselves there. They don't want to see your stuff. They don't want to see your family photos. They could be cute, they could be nice, but that's not really what they want to see. They want to connect to the space, not your items, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. And it hits, right? It's that we all know that clutter when you can visualize someone's house you've been into and you're like, wow, they like forced as many things on that shelf as possible, right? Or they got two kinds of lamps
Right.
next to each other, so
Yeah.
it's a space where something doesn't have a home either, right? You just got a bunch of stuff like maybe packed up against the wall because you don't even know where to put it yourself. um, Again, those things have a bigger impact than we really realize. So now that kind of defines those two in pieces. So this ties into the beginning activity we did, right? There really is a direct connection of emotional impact. Those who work, and I say ladies, I don't think men probably do, but I don't think men get as irritated as quickly as a woman would. Let's say a woman worked hard all
Yeah.
day, comes home, right? I'm thinking about my wife now. Comes home, kitchen could have just too many items on the counter. She's like freaking out internally, like and trying to compose herself, but she can't even greet the same, right? Just stimuli from feeling things are not as in place or intact as they should be. Right now, that messed her up from greeting her family a proper way. Maybe that threw her off from the positive day she had at work. Right now, she's coming in and now she's barking out commands. I'm clearly talking through PTSD, y'all. Um,
That sounds like it.
uh,
Go.
uh, but
Go
you
off.
know what I mean. So
Right. Family here.
you know what I mean. So and that may mess her up. Or for me, right? If I know I hate, let's say we all got a cabinet that got pans and Tupperware throwing up gang signs and going all kinds of way, and the drawer won't close, right? So now you could have been having a great day, you know what I mean? Coming
Mhm.
downstairs and you open up the drawer and the drawer won't close, or you can't find the lid because it's 40 different things. That now irritates you, right? Now someone may, hey, can you grab? No, I'm doing something. Can you wait a second? You know what I mean? So you got all these, triggers happening
Right.
from something we don't even realize is having an influence on our emotions, our feelings. Let's talk about the other side. Let's say you walk in from a long day of work. You had a very hard day. Let's say you was hanging out with your homies, right? And it just you just got stressed out because of the conversation. You came home, right? It's clean, like the environment that you wanted for your living room or your dining room, if that's the entry point, stimulates you, right? You got your incense or whatever colors that actually calm you because you've been in a very loud environment as far as mentally, emotionally, whatever. Now you come home to the ambiance that you wanted, right? Not clutter, not something all over the place or wow. Like that now may actually help you start the process of calming down, right? So there's a serious connection from your environment, right? And your feelings, your thoughts, your attitude, your productivity. You could be productive as hell, and then you go into space and it now throws you off. It throws your momentum off, your focus off, right? So there's so much more that goes into being intentful about like organize your space, clean your space, right? Put it in a way that actually helps you stay at peace or whatever else you're trying to accomplish. But I'll allow you ladies to kind of chat in about these two. I know I went in hard on that. It was some real connections, but it's because I'm clear on an impact, right? And think about living space. I mean, kind of what I said, like that relaxing comfort. You want to have a living room that is inviting to a certain feeling, and your living room may have a certain feel and stimuli because of what you do in that room, right? You may have an office space. You're going to have certain things in there to stimulate whatever it is. It may be productivity, focus, right? So you have a certain scent in your office, right? But then you got another scent in the kitchen that stimulates you a different way based on that environment, right? Your master suite is going to have a different feel and organization that supports what that focus is. You know what I mean? Your kitchen and your living room should not be your kid's playground. And if it is, it just means you probably have too much because we know our kids don't even touch half the stuff. They got their two or three go-to toys, but now you got no room for anything. You're overwhelmed. It frustrates you. Who knows? Like it's just there's a high level impact. So I said a lot there. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on uh, to some strategies now. Now that I got the pain out the way, uh, let's move on to some strategies.
Okay.
Yeah, so one of the easiest ways to declutter is to break it down into categories. And so here's like 5 categories that you can break it down. And it's usually trash, dishes, laundry, things out of place, and things that don't have a place yet. And so that's when you sort of want to keep, a box near you. And you sort of want to just start with each one, start room by room. Or if you don't want to do room by room, start category by category. So if you're doing, let's say, clothes, that's a big one for me. I'm getting ready to move between my daughter and I. I mean, and those who have kids, that they outgrow stuff so fast, and they still look brand new. And it's really hard to throw those things away.
That part.
So,
Say that part again.
yeah,
Drop in the chat. It's
because the
hard.
money
If
that
this
you
is you, drop that in the chat. If this is you too, it's hard.
it is really hard to throw those things away because yeah, you do spend money and you're thinking, okay, I have no use for this, but it shouldn't be trash. And so that's when you want to tap into your resources. Like, for instance, there's two consignment shops on Newberry Street in Boston. And so one is Revolve, and if anybody wants to know, after the talk, I can definitely get that information. But they'll buy the clothes, and if they don't buy the clothes, they'll donate them. And I know we all know Goodwill, but the one on Melina Cass, for instance, near South Bay in the Roxbury area, you can drop bags off to them. So you have to sort of, before you just, I know it can be depressing thinking about throwing stuff away. Don't think about as you're throwing stuff away, just gather the stuff and think, okay, what am I going to donate? What am I going to get money for? That your trash can be turned into treasure. No, nobody has time to sit up there and take pictures on eBay. But if you want to drop them off to a consignment shop, that's great. When you have dishes, you have to start thinking about, we all have young relatives, who are moving into their new spaces. People need things. So you really just have to maybe start looking at getting rid of some of your things as donating them or giving them the way to those who need them more than you. And that might be a much easier strategy to part ways with certain things. But breaking them down, and if you have something that you're not secure about, then yeah, you put it in the box of, these are the things that I'm unsure about. And that's when you start moving into, okay, should I get a small storage unit? Do I, do I have a designated space when I leave to where I can neatly place these things until we find a home? So those are just some strategies that but definitely, like I said, take even 30 minutes a day makes a huge impact. Like, it doesn't have to be this day, okay, I have to block out a whole day. If you just take 30 minutes, in the morning, I'm going to spend 30 minutes in the bathroom. For me, with my products, I literally have to spend 30 minutes purging hair products, purging makeup products. But it goes a long way because it's like, okay, the other day I did the cabinets. I had all these spices in the cabinets that I haven't used in years. Purge the cabinets, so just starting small. It didn't have to be the whole kitchen, but I started with the cabinets. And it took a huge weight off my shoulders.
Yeah. And this part is fun. And if you do it, like she said, if you approach it and plan for this, because it's overwhelming. And as you're doing a certain space or room, and let's say you're moving things, you're now looking at another space and feeling like you got to start that space while you're still working around. And don't do that, because that's the quickest way to get frustrated and start snapping and really trigger emotions again.
Yeah.
Um, and what she brought up is so we have on 15-minute burst. Like, literally, if you can just say, yo, 15 minutes undistracted, right? Maybe put on some music to keep your emotions, or an audiobook, some self-development, whatever you need to do, some deep focus music, and just say 15 minutes. I'm gonna start with this closet. Maybe start there, right? And hit it. Or if you know you have a higher tolerance, you can designate 30 minutes, an hour, or half of your day. But plan. Have your storage containers already ready. If you know you're going to tackle clothes, have the resources needed to do something with it. Because what's worse is starting the process, right? Taking things out and then you got nowhere to put it. And now you got a stack of clothes next to the closet that you just cleaned out, but now you got another problem after you just handled one problem. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
So the easiest thing to start with is probably trash, because
yeah,
those are the things that you can purge. And then the things that you want to give away, that's one thing. But when you do something and you start with these little categories, like I said, if you're in the kitchen and you do the cabinets, after you do the cabinets, what's really left in the kitchen?
yeah, yeah.
There's nothing, a lot of the things that are cluttered sometimes too, you have to think about it, are hidden.
The stuff we don't. Yeah,
Yeah, and so as you're getting your home ready and you're decluttering, you have to look at it too. You're also packing.
yeah. Yep. And when you think about your closet too, this is another really good hit is when you look at your clothes in the closet, which I know we all do. If you say you don't, I don't care, you're lying. Um, Look at your items in your closet, right? And say to yourself, if you're indecisive, like, would I buy this today? If the answer's like, nah, I probably wouldn't. Yo, just let it go. Like
Mm.
someone else will be appreciative of that clothing item and excited. Don't disrupt, because what really happens in our closet is we're in there looking for something to wear, and we got those clothes like, nah, I ain't wearing that. I ain't wearing that. You know what I mean? And that happens often. That's the clothes. You just go, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. And there's this other strategy, which I don't know if I'll do, but it's the whole hanger rule. You turn all your hangers one way, and as you wear them, you flip it around the other way, so you know what you actually used, right? And after a month or 2 months, if you haven't touched it, it's like, all right, that's the one I gotta go, right? But there's just so many ways to attack it. Another for like kids' room, because this is work. Um, have your kids start it. So what my wife did, she actually had the kids. They gave them both a box or a bag. I think it was a box. She said, "I'm gonna give you guys." She said, "I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. Put whatever you want to donate to another kid in here that you know you don't play with anymore. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to see who has the coolest stuff in there, or who has the most, something like that." And like turn into a game versus her going in there stressing out, figuring out. Let them go do it. Like we're in our head thinking like, oh, they may play with it, or we got to keep it, or like you said, well, this is still kind of brand new. Well, it's brand new, and there's nowhere to put it, and no one's going to use it. Go donate it to a family member, right? Or put it in the attic if you have attic space, like an organized section. You know, repurpose it, but allow them to take part in that, right? Competition game. So there's just so many ways to help you approach this, because uh, you could be tackling a problem and create a bigger problem,
Mhm.
without
You can create a
coming and approaching it. Huh?
I said, or you can create a solution for somebody else when you're donating these things. Like it feels good
Mm.
dropping these things off. It feels good, knowing that you might get some money for these clothes. I mean, there's a lot of consignment shops too that pay for your items, so you don't have to feel guilty, dropping them off. You don't have to look at it as just decluttering. It's like, okay, people need some things, and I'm gonna provide them.
Yep. Absolutely. We ain't gonna get started on the pantry. We'll keep it moving. But man, if I go on half of y'all pantries, I bet you there's a whole bunch of expired stuff that just gotta go. Like we buy stuff even though we have stuff there. Like go in there, and that takes time, man. But I love throwing stuff away. That's a phenomenal feeling for me. I'm like, man, it's gotta go. Close date, gotta go. Don't
Very.
like it, gotta go. All right. So now let's talk about some solutions for decluttering, right? Because you could declutter, but if you don't have the resources and tools to help you, right? Because if you have the same room and you're trying to figure out how do you best allocate it, now you need to grab certain items to support that. So I'll let Shayna kind of chat about that.
Yeah, so I think it's very important to kind of, and I know a lot of people have heard this, like everything should have a home. Everything has a place, right? So sometimes we have a lot of things in our spaces that don't necessarily need to be seen, right? So um, when it comes to storage solutions, especially when you have a smaller space, you kind of gotta have to think outside the box. So one of the things that we've used, I know both of us have been like ottomans that have like inside you can store stuff in, nobody can see it, only you know it's there, right? And it has a lid. So it's there, you know where to find it when you need it, but it's kind of tucked away and it's hidden. So anybody who comes in your space isn't gonna know it's there. And it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's there, but it's not really there.
Yep.
So then also like bookshelves and bookcases, those are very useful. But you want to be careful not to overload them with things. And I think that's one of the things people tend to do is they have the space. And so they're throwing things on there, but all that becomes clutter at the end of the day if you're just placing things. So with bookcases, you have to be very strategic when kind of designing them or styling them, where you're not putting too much on there. So when it comes to books, you want to, every shelf doesn't have to have a million books on it, right? So you want to put maybe 5 or 6 books on one shelf. And this kind of gets in more to what we do when it comes to design. So I don't want to kind of overwhelm you guys with that information because that's kind of, our niche. But you don't want to have every single shelf
Occupied.
with occupied with
Yeah.
things on them. So you want to space it out. You want to make it easy on the eyes, because when it's not, it's too much. Again, it's overloading the senses. So that's one storage solution that we've used. Another big one is under the bed storage. So there's a lot of beds that come with drawers. Those are very useful, but at the end of the day, we have also used, and we use them all the time, storage bins. And storage bins come in a lot of different sizes, a lot of different shapes. You can get the ones that can slide right under your bed. You can get the ones that kind of just, you can put them on top of each other in a closet.
They
But
have shoe rack storage bins.
shoe racks, yep, all of
And
that.
they got nice fancy ones that actually look like furniture,
They do.
right? So that way the appeal is still there. You don't lose that.
Right. So the idea is that all these things are in a space, but a space that nobody else can see but you. And it keeps the functionality of your space. It keeps things looking less decluttered or not decluttered at all. And it just looks more visually appealing to whoever's coming into your home, whether it's just for you or it's for a buyer that's walking into your home considering, buying your space. So,
And another part to contribute to that, when you think about how do you capitalize, let's just say you got a closet, right? You got shoes, like your clothes are hanging, and then you got the lower space where we usually put our shoes or whatever. You can buy furniture that fits right under the clothes, but allows you to store your shoes. So that way your closet is still clean and organized without physically just seeing shoes everywhere. I did this activity actually preparing for this. I just kind of was going through different spaces in my house and realizing things that actually really did always trigger me. Like I just hated it. Like it just looked so ugly. But I brought this furniture online. It was on Amazon. This little dress, it's like a little dresser, but it's not a dresser. With the little cotton bit. I don't know if it's cotton. It's not my forte, guys. But it's little bins. And I brought two of them, fit right underneath in one of my closets, fit right underneath the clothes. But all the stuff on the ground was like, winter hats, gloves, scarves, other random stuff, and it just looked terrible. So I got those, and I was able to fold it. Actually, I got the trash bags, right? Took I My best strategy, guys. When I tackle a room, I go in and take everything out. Like I'm like, yo, I'm taking everything out, and then I'm gonna slowly put things back what makes sense. So what I did was I waited till the furniture got here. When it did, I had my son put it together, thank God. And then I took everything out of that closet that was on the floor, put the bins in, the units in, and then I went through the items and put things back. I had so many free spaces. The floor's clean, organized. Like the closet looks phenomenal. I was able to organize the top shelf, and I had like literally a massive big black bag of like donation clothes, like some clothes with tags on it, like dope blazers. I felt bad, but I'm like, dude, you ain't never gonna wear it, bro. But that, you know what I mean? But donated that trash stuff. But now I have a space that actually makes me feel good when I go into it, which you go into it every day. It's not like, oh God, you know what I mean? So, this just get your resource, figure out what you want to do with the space, get the resources, and then start the project. So, because managing the project's gonna be a lot easier. It took me about 2.5 hours, but like the best investment of my time, and I did it at night, so I didn't impede on my business during the day. You know what I'm talking about? All
and
right.
can I just add something? You also want to make sure, like, even like with closets, I know a lot of people they think, okay, people aren't going to see what's in the closet. If you're selling your home, people want to see how much closet space you have.
They do.
Yep.
So you definitely want to make the closet space look, functional. You want to make it look organized. You don't want to make it look disorganized because that's going to give the perception that there's not a lot of closet space.
Yeah.
So
Wow, say that part again. That's important. That now it really is. That's really important.
it's very important. So, again, the bins come in handy, hanging things up, just making it look presentable goes a long way.
And the buyers are also looking at what you're doing for themselves, because a lot of times when they walk into the space, they want to see how to utilize the space. So if they see, okay, she has this organization set up in the closet, like that's very inspiring to them, because they're probably leaving a space where they're going through that and they're looking for more space, and just customizing your storage it goes a long way.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about some common mistakes, right? And what we could do to try to avoid this as we embody this new mindset and approach to tackling decluttering projects. One of you ladies. I'm putting chapstick on.
No, so really, just overstuffing, sometimes I know that, especially when we go into properties, buyers, they're already, I mean, sellers, they're already stressed because they're preparing for selling a home, they're preparing for moving, and sometimes they tend to try to hide things, but they're really not hidden, like stuffing things in a closet or throwing them under the bed. And so that's why when we're like, before we get ready to stage and we're doing our walkthroughs, we just talk about, start packing so that you're not overwhelmed. You may not have a home yet. You're in the process of selling your home, but still just start packing so that, it could help you with the process and just take that stress away. So, like putting in the way the off season clothes, there's a lot of activity in the summertime. Those winter clothes need to be packed and put away. There's no reason that they should be there. If you're getting ready to sell, you can put those in storage until you figure out what to do with it. Um, Try to use, even though things are packed, they can still be packed neatly and they can look better. Like no wire or plastic hangers. If you're getting ready to sell, move, whatever. Or even if you're trying to reorganize your closet, use velvet hangers, use wooden hangers, use
Yeah.
better looking, just for a cleaner look.
Mhm.
It goes a long way. And then again, like neatly arrange everything so you can showcase the storage that your home has, even though, it's much needed and it's much necessary. Those pantry spaces and the garage spaces, it is important to show the storage potential
So
to
what
the.
about homeowners who
Mhm.
aren't looking to sell right now, right? But want to better utilize their space, right? And they know, all right, cool, I need to start tackling some places like what are some things they could do that could cause a problem, right? Or make things worse.
I think a lot of times people start projects and start decluttering and don't finish, right? Because sometimes it tends to feel overwhelming. So you definitely need to be strategic when it comes to that. So you
Mm,
try not to do everything at once. You're not going to be able to do everything at once. You need to
yes.
be able to kind of compartmentalize everything and say, okay, today I'm going to give myself an hour to just focus on this. And I'm going to make sure I complete this before I move on to the next thing. Right.
Yeah.
So you have to be very intentional about that, or else you're going to find yourself just with all these projects that aren't done, and it's going to
Mhm.
feel overwhelming and you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah. Ask
Yep.
for help and don't overwhelm yourself with a huge project that you think is going to be just a monster. If you're already looking at it like this is going to be impossible to complete, don't even start it. Get help. It doesn't really cost that much to get a cleaner or to hire a professional or to just call somebody, like just don't overwhelm yourself
Mhm.
when you're trying to get to your solution.
And
Yep.
if you're anything like us, I mean, have fun with it. Try to figure out how to make it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
The people that live there, like Jeremy had mentioned, getting your kids involved, getting
Mhm.
them excited. And that's just another good way to get the process going and to get through it and not have it feel so daunting and overwhelming.
Well, well, and that's the beauty of like you gotta plan for it. Like it's like bigger project. If you're doing like let's say a kitchen drawer, we all got that kind of like BS drawer that everything goes in and like it's just a wild ass drawer, right? So if you're tackling that, it may not be as daunting to have to plan for that, but a kid's room, maybe your kitchen cabinets, the living room, whatever, the attic, you plan for it. Like get the trash bags, know where things will go or not go. Have the shelves if you know you want to like everything's on the floor everywhere. Cool. Buy the shelves, and then when the shelves get there, set them up. Now start the process because now when you're moving it, you're already prepared to find homes versus doing everything and like, oh, well, I don't have what I need. Now you got to stop. Now you're stepping over crap all day because you got to wait for 3 days for your package to get delivered. So it's you got to plan for the process so that way while you're in it, like she said, you're not delaying or prolonging a process because you're not prepared, right? And then after you let's say you reorganize the kitchen or the pantry or the kids room, teach the other people in the house the new process, create a process, and then teach it because before you know it, that room, well, kids room, you can't. There's nothing you can do there. That's gonna get messed up over and over and over. But you do your best. But teach them the process. Tell them, listen, going forward, guys, this is where the Tupperware goes. This is where the pans go going forward in the pantry, we're gonna do it like this. If we do buy stuff to double up on maple syrup, please just pull the one in the back forward and put the other one in front. So we're not grabbing the newer one and the old one's just sitting there over and over and now it's expired. You know, like whatever processes you put in place, you got to, whatever work you do, put a process and plan in place to sustain it, right? I know there's someone on here who actually has a newborn. He's going to learn. The house gets packed between diaper boxes, gifts, toys. Your kitchen counter's going to have bottles, bottle cleaners, all kinds of utensils to clean it. Like,
Things you don't use, the things you got to
there
do.
you go.
The
Things
things
you don't use, things you may use once in a blue moon, so you just keep it, but it's frustrating because there's no room for it. It's like, but if you create a system, it just limits because there's so many arguments in relationships, and there's a lot of it's probably tied to clutter of things that are stimulating, frustrating feelings and thoughts. Now you're snapping about other stuff, but it's really tied to, you know, the refrigerator is just a freaking mess, and you can never get to your dessert in the back because stuff's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy when we think about everything can be cluttered or have a impact on our minds, our hearts, and so forth.
Sometimes you forget you have certain things. You're like, oh, that's where they live.
Oh my goodness, right.
Happens all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like help ourselves. I mean, first of all, life is challenging, you know, and you want to come home and have as much peace as possible. So
Absolutely.
put the work in to have your environment be that peace. You know, now you're not gonna be perfect, but if you instead of annoying it and avoiding it, it's just prolonging problems and building it up. And that's those outbursts of psychoticness everyone has. So as we transition now, right now we got the house decluttered, right? We're starting to have a nice smooth sailing, or if you're preparing to sell, right, you're removing things out of the house. You're simplifying rooms, you're simplifying spaces. This is now where the added piece of staging becomes so important. Rather you're considering selling, rather it's actually just your house, and you're like, you know what, I want something different. I am not good at putting stuff together, so I want someone to come in here. I'll clear it out, and y'all just I tell you what feeling I want in this room, and I just want you ladies to come in and help me accomplish that. Here's my budget. This is what I want. Make that happen, right? So this is where we're gonna get into the power of going from a room to like, oh, that room. So, ladies, go ahead, do your thing.
So when it comes to staging, I always say you have one shot to make a lasting impression. You have one shot for that, buyer to come in and fall in love with that space and really feel like, wow, I can live here. So that's where we come in. And after a place is decluttered and, it's been pretty much stripped down of all the personalized decor and furniture and knickknacks, we come in. And when it comes to staging, it's not just about adding things. Sometimes it's about moving things around to make them more functional. So you might have your place styled away and we come in and we're like, actually, this is going to be more functional and look more appealing this way. Sometimes it's moving furniture. A lot of times it's adding textures. So that when I say textures, I mean throw blankets, decorative pillows, wall art can be texture. And sometimes we'll add, as you can see in the picture, they have little side tables. We'll bring in pieces to kind of bring the space together. Because at the end of the day, that's what it needs to do. Everything needs to tie together and have like a homey feel. So colors are important. When we come in, we like to use neutral pieces because neutral pieces is what appeals to the masses, right? So we're not just trying to appeal to
Why? And why does that appeal to the masses?
It's important to appeal to the masses because
Why does neutral colors appeal to the masses?
Neutral. There's a psychology behind it, but the short version is things are soft, they're calm, they're gentle.
Mm.
Right? So when you have loud colors, it's distracting. So people are looking at those things rather than looking at the actual space. So the soft tones, they just do something. They bring a calmness, they bring a feeling, right? So you're in touch with the feeling. And they tend to make the home feel bigger. They make the home feel more cozy. And that's what we're trying to do when we're staying.
Absolutely. And keep an eye on the time. We got time flew by, y'all. It flew by. We got like 14 minutes, so we're gonna slide through. And we're definitely gonna leave opportunity for questions. But yeah, hit it off. Can you see the next slide?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
As far as like minimalism and warmth, so yeah, you definitely want to remove personal items, and just like Shana said, think about textures and colors because you don't want the buyer walking in and you don't want to hide the home's best features. And you don't want them thinking about you as the seller. Like they probably can't even help it, but they're like, oh, I see she likes, I don't know, cat. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? So it's like because when I moved, I remember I had this apartment and some of the neighbors asked to come in my apartment because I had an open layout. And what was most important for them, they were looking at, and this is the beginning of the staging business, how I laid the furniture out because it was an open layout. And they were like, when I walk into your apartment, I really just want to go back and rearrange mine. Because but the buyers are walking and what they want to see is how to utilize the space. And you can't focus on how to utilize the space when you're distracted by too many items and too many pictures. So that all ties into like the neutral colors because the home is like one big, mood ring. And they want to see, okay, how many, this size couch can fit here, and this is the way that you do the coffee table. For them, it's like when you walk into Bob's or you walk into Jordan's Furniture and you want to see a showroom. That's what they want to see. We're not really, when you walk into a showroom, you're seeing key features, but you're not seeing, pictures and knickknacks and collections. And those are the things that you want to get, sort of tuck away. You want to tuck away your personality so that the personality of the home shows. And so like even one project we were doing, I remember Shane and I were setting up an office and they had this bookshelf and they had a lot of books and it was taking me so long to find, these people were amazing. They were Harvard professors, but they had a lot of books tailored to them. So it's like I love Michelle Obama, but I don't necessarily want to throw a Michelle Obama book on the table just because it might trigger a certain buyer. It's kind of like, okay, if you don't want that buyer in your house that it triggers, yeah, be specific about that. Put it there. Saying that, you know what I mean? I'm looking for, I was like, I need a book that's neutral. I need a book that really doesn't,
Speak to anything specific.
yeah, doesn't speak to anything political, doesn't speak for a hobby, and
And what she's really saying is the environment has to be set up to where someone can come in and start to find themselves in this home, start to visualize their next chapter here, what they would do in that living room. How
yeah,
could that bedroom actually fit both my kids? Right? Like that's what they need to see. And the other things become distractions where they're in your rooms looking at how you live. That's it. That's all they get to see when it's not, cleared and just simplistic without personal touches, picture frames, or like she said, if you got a picture of Trump on the wall, that may excite certain buyers, and that may actually tell another buyer who loved your house, like, I don't even want to buy these people's house versus the quality. You know what I mean? So we just have to. That's where their professional mindset and your mindset should be when you're preparing it for the market, right? So
Go down to like even the bedding, like all that's important, right? So
mhm,
you want to make sure you have neutral bedding,
yeah.
white bedding. You don't want to have too many plants. You want to have like one plant, and that's where the minimalism comes in, right?
yeah,
So you just want to have a few pieces, not too much,
mhm,
right?
Yeah.
Not too much kind of just
yeah,
It distracts. It distracts and doesn't allow them to do what they're supposed to do, which is connect with the house and
exactly.
see themselves there. So with staging, I mean, as this numbers literally don't lie. And for me, being the person supporting sellers such as you all who have to make that decision, it's clear and evident, right? On average, homes are selling 15% more that are staged, right? And there is a direct connection with the level of staging with the level of type of property, right? Because there's different level. You got luxury, which we'll get into and so forth. But houses stay on the market longer that are not staged, hands down, right? And then there's levels of staging, right? Because they can stage with different budgets, and that obviously is going to depend on probably the home, the condition, the location, the clientele that who are qualified buyers for this house. There's levels to everything, but your return on investment for staging hands down, like it's just nothing to even think about. Like you're getting easily 200 to 300% on in your investment. So if it's going to cost you, let's just say, for example, $5,000 to stage your home to excite qualified buyers to come in and feel so good about the space, because in their mind, that's how their house is going to look, even though all that furniture is leaving. They're not thinking that. They just see that, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Now, what happens? You get stimulated with feelings, emotions that connect you to a property that says, yo, I'm putting enough. I'm willing to go 30,000 over asking for that house versus I like it. Let's go asking. There's I promise you, direct connect. So if I can spend 5,000 and get at minimum 10, 15, 20, $30,000 on top because of that 5,000 investment, it's a no-brainer.
And we have to prepare for them asking for the furniture.
Because that it happens.
Yeah.
That's that. I'm glad you brought that up. And other realtors can tell you when it comes to P&S, they're like, oh well, can we keep the couch? Can we keep that wall painting? Like they are connected to the things there in their mind. They're like, oh my God, I love this house. Like I want it because they're thinking everything that's in it. They're not realizing that all that stuff's leaving. I mean, the house is here, but that's the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish, right? So staging, it's just I tell my sellers it's like a non-negotiable. Now, again, the property type, it all has hidden. If the outside is pretty beat up, the inside maybe like you could stage. It's just going to be a different kind of staging, right? You still need to get people visuals versus walking into a naked room having it because people aren't creative. Like we think they are, but people just they don't have that ability to be as creative to see something. So these are just some of the numbers on like the impact on staging on different types. You get the luxury market, mid-range homes, entry-level homes, DIY staging. So this just shows that impact because they staging an entry-level home, let's say a ranch or a cape, it may not have that severe level of return, such as let's say a luxury, a big penthouse in State Street and see, downtown State Street. Like that the level of cost for that is gonna be different, but the return is gonna be bananas, right?
Yeah, and those don't go as fast all the time. So those luxury places need staging as well. And
Yep.
sometimes just a consultation just goes a long way, just so that your buyers can know if they don't want to go with staging, just how they can do it themselves. I had a
Yep.
conversation with a realtor who's a friend. I wouldn't do this if he wasn't a friend, but I was like, you put pictures out of your property, it was lived in, they had belts on the door, they had, just certain things that could have been avoided if it just a simple consultation, just having somebody come through and do a walkthrough. Hey, you think you can
Yep.
put this away? Do you think you can put this here? Can we move the couch here? You can stage with your own furniture. It like I've we've done that and people are like, I don't even want to leave anymore.
They
Yeah.
reconsider selling the home
Yeah.
because they're like,
Yeah.
this
I
is different.
I'm telling
Exactly.
you, it happens often. They start seeing the professional photos after it's still like,
They're
that's
like,
my
that's my
house.
house,
What the
right?
hell am I leaving for? Like, you know what? I get it. You did your work. Take it off the market. I'm just gonna settle in. You know what I mean? Like, it's the truth though. And think about what if that can do that for a home seller who's already emotionally said, I'm ready to depart, whether it's to relocate somewhere closer, somewhere bigger, and you reignite their feelings to something they're already disconnected to. Think about buyers who are like, I need a space, and they go in, they're gonna be like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. Right? Like there really is a difference, and that translates into more income and return, right, for the clients. Or if you're an agent for your clients, right, having a resource that's gonna go in and advise your clients and then give them an experience as far as their home and get them a return that they're looking for, triple, double their investment. You were the hero. You just got the right resources on your team that makes you the hero, you know,
Absolutely.
straight up. So yeah, we're gonna. I told you all, ladies, it's gonna fly. So I know we got 5 minutes left, but we got these beautiful ladies here, and honestly, they gave their time. I'm so appreciative. I hope you all got some serious like gems that you can run with and go home and start tackling, right? Small projects, big projects. If you know you're selling this spring or this summer or this year, like now you have an information in your arsenal that's gonna help you prepare for that, and then you have the resources with these ladies or myself to support you. It's not just doing a job, it's guiding you through the process so we can get you the end goal and the destination. So I will leave it up for questions, which you can throw in your chat. I also want to definitely follow these ladies. So they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. Also have a web page. I got their information down there on Facebook. Is She Designs Homes. Instagram is She Designs Homes, all one word. If you're on this call, you probably follow me, and if you don't, you need to. Jeremy underscore Brandon underscore realtor. I should change that to your go-to realtor. Probably will one day. But yes, if you have questions, drop it in the chat. I know it was a lot of good info. Ladies, I thank you. Really, really good job.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yes.
Yes, yes, this was good. This was good. You're getting some claps up there. You're getting some claps. He's showing some love. It was really, really good stuff. So again, we'll leave this for up. She Designs Homes. Also, I meant to put in here too. So if you want some time, I just dropped in a chat. There's a link I just put. If you want to set up a time with myself or these ladies, rather it's you're thinking about selling, you want to get some ideas on staging or redesigning your space, or click the link. They're gonna figure out some value to add to allow you all to get access to them and help your space or help you prepare for what's coming on down. I love that. Throw the love for these ladies. I love that. Throw some love for these ladies in the chat. We got some fire. We got some hearts. I love that. Appreciating these ladies.
Yes,
Throw some love in the chat,
Thank
y'all.
you all. Much
Yeah.
appreciated. I hope you all have a lovely, safe weekend, and we are here for you if you need us.
Yeah. What if they want to live dangerous? Why they gotta have a safe
Don't live
weekend?
dangerously. Live productively, safe, blessed, and God-fearing.
Yes, yes. Do all of that. And if you want to live life on the edge, do that. Go hard. You know what I mean? Go hard. But hit us up before you do that. You know what I mean? Just connect with us
Okay,
first.
exactly.
But the links in there, guys. Again, you can set up time with them. They're gonna do something awesome. If you're a real estate agent, they're gonna create an incentive plan for you as well. So that way, as you're supporting your clients or commercial clients or partners, you have a resource, right? And it's gonna be something that benefits your clients to get them really what they want, which is the higher return if you're selling. And it's also gonna help incentivize you, for being that resource and plug. But either way, these ladies are phenomenal. The link is in the chat. If you need me to drop it again, I will. I'm going to actually. But click the link. It's simple, couple questions. It'll go to them. They'll set up a time, reach out, and listen, we'll start the relationship. But follow them on social media, show them some love. These ladies, I give them props. Round of applause to you ladies. Straight up.
Applause to everybody.
Everybody.
They
Here.
are amazing at what they do, and this is the first time they chose to bring this to a Zoom, to a live training, right? They're just great in silence, but they made the decision to like go out of their norms to bring value to y'all. So shout out to them. Blessings. Honestly, I'm looking forward to collaborating with them. I'm looking forward to them collaborating with me. And yeah, no, we're gonna do some great stuff. So shout
Yeah.
out to everybody on the call. Have a great rest of your day. If you guys need anything,
Love
you have
that.
our information. Follow us, DM us, and we got you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yes.
Everybody, much love.
Bye.
Yes. Now, ladies, y'all stay on the call. Don't try to end your Zoom. Y'all keep it on, all right? Y'all keep it on. You know what I mean? Don't try to be dipping out on me. They're like, oh, hit the button. Yeah. Uh,
We dipped.
No.
uh, and if anybody said, we appreciate y'all. Enjoy your weekend. Appreciate you, King. Thank you, guys. Yeah. See, y'all got some good love in there. Y'all dropped some good value. Um, but yeah, y'all can hop off. You can stay on if you got questions, whichever. Ladies, what did I say? I was gonna fly by.
It did.
Excuse me, one more.
Fly,
It did.
right? It's fly by. You know what I mean? And it's valuable stuff, but it's still. Oh, am I still sharing my screen? I am. Look at that. They still want to hang out with us. Still got 12 people. I can't blame y'all. It's like a party in here. You know what I mean? We're gonna crack champagne in a second, y'all. But good work, ladies. I know y'all got a lot of great stuff to go get back to. Y'all can relax and refocus again and say Jeremy's off my back.
No, love the journey. Love the journey. Loved all the insight. Love the support. All of that. You definitely took us
So
somewhere else.
good. I can't wait to see what God does with and for y'all because y'all trusted him and allowed him to use me to show y'all what y'all really got. Because that was like a glimpse for you to see how dope and valuable you guys really are, and give that to the people. 'Cause y'all are fire. Y'all are fire. She don't know how to act. She's like, yeah. All right, ladies. Well, listen, have a great day. We will definitely chop it up. And we will talk soon. All right. Great job.
Thank you, Jeremy. So
All righty. Thank you, everybody else who was joined in. If you're still here, thank you for being nosy. Clearly, y'all love us. We love y'all. You know? All
all
right,
love, all
y'all.
love.
All love. Be blessed on purpose. Let's get it.